George Steele arrived in Huntsville in February of 1818. He was known as an architect who specialized in Greek Revival architecture and as a land speculator. He designed homes for several prominent Huntsville families, as well as the State National Bank Building and Madison County's second courthouse. George Steele's first Huntsville home was built in 1824 at what is now 519 Randolph Street. Oak Place was the name of his second residence. Oak Place was built in 1840 and is located at 1808 Maysville Road. Steele and his wife, Eliza, enjoyed hosting parties, and this was reflected in the design of Oak Place. There was a large ballroom with high ceilings. The guest rooms were separated in a dormitory style so that male and female partygoers could stay the night and avoid rumors of romantic trysts. The labor and craftsmanship of Steele's buildings can be attributed in large part to the highly skilled slaves who were stonecutters, bricklayers, plasterers, and carpenters. According to the 1850 slave census, George Steele owned 45 male and 24 female slaves. On his property in the foothills of Montesano, carpenters, woodworkers, and brickmakers made the materials for the houses Steele designed. Slaves also built the buildings, with Steele hiring other people's slaves to accomplish large projects. In his will, Steele made arrangements for 23-year-old Elizabeth Steele, identified as mulatto, and her 4 children, also identified as mulatto, to be freed and established in a free state. Because this family was freed and no others, local historians theorize that Elizabeth and her children may be related to the Steele family. George Steele designed Madison County's second courthouse. In 1840, taxes were raised to fund the new courthouse. Construction was finished in 1842. The total cost of the building was $40,125, and Steele was paid $2,000 for fees and services. The building was demolished in 1914 to make way for a new, larger building. Before the demolition, the architect hired to design Madison County's third courthouse made detailed drawings of the Steele building, which reside now at the Library of Congress's archives. The first National Bank building was designed and built in 1835. The building stands on the west side of the courthouse square. The Ionic columned portico was a common feature in George Steele's work. The columns were made in Baltimore and shipped to Huntsville via the river, canal, and then ox cart. The building cost approximately $76,000. Leroy Pope's house on Eccles Hill was built in 1814. But it wasn't until 1848 that George Steele left his mark on the house. Steele designed the front portico of the house. The addition was considered by modern architects to be so masterfully integrated into the style of the rest of the building that it was difficult to tell it was an addition. The Finney Barber House, located at 414 Randolph Avenue, was built in the 1820s. It was one of Steele's earlier Federal-style houses. Steele was practicing in the Federal style because it was popular at the time. When American architecture began to borrow elements from ancient Greek and Roman architecture in the style as Classical Revival, Steele's work also followed the trend. The Huntsville Female College was built in the early 1850s. The building was designed by Steele in the last years before his death. It was destroyed by fire in 1895. The Huntsville Female Seminary was the last building designed by Steele before his death. Built in the Gothic Revival style, the seminary was a stylistic departure for Steele, probably to distinguish it from the Huntsville Female College. This building was demolished in 1909.